everybody, and welcome back to Joyce Pring TV. Today's episode is brought to you by Adulting with Joyce Pring. Please don't forget to check out the audio version of this vlog. The podcast is called Adulting with Joyce Pring. Oh, we are so bored, but this is going to be a really exciting topic. The topic today is from Isuba with the question, how can you be positive around negative people? Di ko alam. I do this all the time because my work requires a lot of PR, hosting, and managing people during events and shoots. Not managing people, but obviously because I'm the host, my work basically is to kind of glue everything and everyone together. So to keep the event organized, to keep the program in flow, that's my job. And sometimes with that kind of thing, you tend to really have to deal with negative people. Either that's a director who likes to scream, although I haven't worked with a person like that in so long, or a talent or an artist na super late naman, so it brings everyone stress, diba? And I've only realized that the first thing that you have to remember when it comes to dealing with people who are negative, for you to stay positive, is to not be affected by those things. Now, I know it's easier said than done to say na wag ka na lang magpa-affect, but there are ways for you to do that. So how are you able to not be affected by negative people to stay positive, right? The first thing that you can do, so for me, what I do is I like to pray about it, because when you pray, you actually take yourself out of the situation as a person and start looking at the situation as, how can I love this person better? As negative as they are, as difficult as they may be as human beings, I believe as a Christian that we're called to love other people and to be more gracious towards them. So no matter how negative they are, it shouldn't affect the way that you treat them. There will always be a need for you sometimes to be protective of yourself, to distance yourself from other people. But most of the time, all you can really do is to show grace and to show love to these people. It doesn't necessarily mean na lalambingin mo sila or magiging super chummy or close kayo. It just means that you're extending kindness towards them. And this is one thing that I do when I encounter people who are vicious on the internet. I usually just block them. I usually just delete their comments or delete their DMs, ganyan. Because, well, first of all, I feel like it's so bad. Like, why would you spend time and energy just to push negativity towards someone, right? Like, you must have so many bad things going on in your life, or you must be super insecure or going through a lot for you to really allot time to hate on other people. So I try to look at it from that perspective, and when I look at negative people from that perspective, I tend to kind of be more empathetic towards them. Na, man, these people just need to experience love and they need to experience grace, and the last thing that they need is another person throwing back the hate at them, because what happens when you keep piling up hate, it just gets bigger and bigger. So instead of responding hate with hate, just try to not be affected and respond in grace and love instead. Number 2, how do you stay positive around negative people? Well, one thing that you can actually also do is to stop hanging out with negative people, right? I know that we all have this. We call them the negatrons in our barcadas, or the people in our barcadas who are just always complaining about something, or who are just plain out unhappy with their lives and they refuse to do something about it. And I'm telling you, these are the type of people that you try to talk to and you tell them that, you know what? I feel like you need a paradigm shift in your life. I feel like you need to kind of put yourself in a different disposition and look at the world in a different space again. I feel like you're not in the right headspace. But as a friend, if they still don't change, if they still aren't willing to do something about that, I think you also have the liberty to really step away and detach yourself from that relationship. Because honestly, we think that meron tayong minsang messianic complex eh. Now, we think that we can change people, or we can be so positive that they'll just be affected by it. But sometimes talaga there are some people who refuse to change. They refuse to live life differently. As I mentioned from the past vlog and podcast, toxic relationships are not good for you. And it's not your work to change people. It's not your work to deal with them. Your job is to better yourself, to tell them the truth in love and in kindness, and tell them that, hey, I think you need to change this. Coming from a place of love, I think that it has to be different the way that you handle situations, but you can only do so much. And sometimes you really have to stay away and get out of those kinds of negative relationships and negative circles. Consequently, number 3 that I would tell you is to be surrounded by positive people too. I know for a fact that the reason why I'm here today and that I'm able to tell you these things with confidence is because I'm surrounded with groups of people, different groups of people, from my barkada in grade school, high school, college, my barkada from work, my barkada from church, my like people, friends who have become family to me. They are people of extreme positivity and joy in their lives. So much so that if I start talking about negative things in my life, their first response is to, 1, comfort me, to love me, and 2, to figure out with me how do I change that negativity in my life, right? And we need people like that in your life. People who will rally for you to become better, people who believe in you, people who will push you to be the most positive, the best version of who you are, so that you can better serve God, so that you can better serve the community that you're in, so that you can be a better friend, sister, daughter, and whatever career woman that you are. So that's pretty much it. I think it's pretty simple and concise because I feel like it's a very general thing that you can do, but obviously there are also personal things that you will have to opt for when it comes to dealing with these things, and those things are discovered on your own, and you have to do it at your own pace and with your own ways of dealing with negative people. But those are my top 3 things that I would like to share with you. My team just asked me to give a message to all of the negative people out there. Well, first things first, I want you to know that God loves you nonetheless, with all of your flaws, insecurities, and hate that you throw out to the world. I believe in my heart that God loves you. The fact alone that you're still living here today with people who probably love you, even if you're negatron, and who still provide for you and care for you, you're loved. And honestly, I feel like you should start looking at that perspective of your life, that you have to start looking at the many blessings that you have. You have to start looking at the positive things in your life and start being grateful for the blessings that you have, because I feel like the way that you become negative is if you start focusing on the negative things in life, and you have to change your disposition if you want to change the world. Second, please stop spreading the hate. Honestly, there are so many things going on in this world right now, and the last thing that anybody needs is more hate. As cliche as it may sound, we have to pay forward the love, the kindness, the joy, and peace within our hearts that I, for one, find in Jesus Christ alone. And I would advocate for you guys to learn and experience yourselves. But at the end of the day, I know that it can be a vicious world. It can be a very difficult and negative world. Just don't allow yourself to be eaten up in it. So that's it. To all my positive gals and guys out there, what up? Stay positive. See you guys soon. Please don't forget to check out the audio version of this podcast, of this vlog rather. The podcast is Adulting with Joyce Pring on iTunes podcast app and also on Spotify, all for free. Give this video a thumbs up. Give your comments and your suggestion in the comment section below if you have your own ways of dealing with negative people in your life. I know we have a lot of colleagues, friends, or family members. Honestly, madaming mga family members na talagang negatron lang talaga. If you have your ways to go about, si Jello na to. To go about it, share it with us, and we'll see you again on the next episode. Peace!